Recorded Books and One-Click Digital present The Diary of a Rapist by Evan S. Connell. Narrated by Andrew Karst. January 1st. Last night Bianca shook me awake and told me to stop grinding my teeth. Nothing gives her more satisfaction than to humiliate me. So one year ends, another begins. January 2nd. This afternoon on the way home from work, saw 3 women fighting in the street. One had fallen to her knees, clothing pulled to rags. The others were jerking at her hair, hitting her furiously across the back with awkwardly closed fists. How clumsy women are. Shrieks and cries, a circle of attentive men. There's a sort of dreadful augury in the bird-call screams of women. January 3rd. Violence! Violence! Had scarcely left the bureau when I saw a man struck by a taxi. No accident. The driver noticed him start across the street, I'm sure of it, and I'm sure there was time enough to stop the cab. Instead, what? A chance for revenge. How many of us wouldn't do the same? Yes, when that moment comes, that one instant when we've got the power either to love or hate, with nothing in between, how often do we hesitate? I know the answer. Day after day we're humiliated, so why not seize the chance? Why not? Well, don't think about it. Just do your work. Stay out of trouble. Anyway, who knows whether love exists? It could be that hate is the only reality. He that seeketh findeth. Maybe. I've looked for some kind of love long enough, but what have I found? Strokes of revenge back and forth. Regular as a metronome, that's what I've found. So now I ask just to be let alone. I'm willing to do my work. Not much else interests me because there's not much to look forward to. Bravo! Bravo for Earl Summerfield! He's quite a man. Yes. Get home a few minutes before your wife, rush around the apartment flinging up your hands and shouting, grin at yourself in the mirror, practice a few vulgar gestures. Then as soon as you hear the elevator stop, you grab the newspaper and sit down and compose your features so Bianca always comes in to find the husband she expects. Bravo, Earl. Yes, indeed. You're quite a man. Well, maybe I'm too hard on myself. I doubt if other men are much better. A few, I suppose, but most of us are terrified. Scared to death of losing our job, getting in trouble with the bank, letting somebody make a fool of us. Usually it's some woman. Stiff as a dead halibut if one of them looks at us cross-eyed. The truth is, I'm really no weaker than the next. Not a bit, and if it wasn't for Bianca, I'd have been able to make something out of myself by this time. She's ruined everything. There's no limit to what I might have done by now. She knows it, too. I guess it gives her some sort of pleasure. January 4th. Friday. This noon at lunch, Magnus confides that he's discovered an extremely rare paperweight. Wipes his nose, coughs, peeps around, and finally lets me in on the secret. Not many, persons realize how valuable, certain paperweights can be. Looked at the spots of grease on his necktie and tried not to grin. Oh, is that so? How much do you think you can get for it? Then naturally he started backing off. Wasn't sure. Explained that it depended on the rarity and so forth. Claimed something called a yellow overlay brought $7,000. Maybe it did. I'm no authority on paperweights. But even if it did, what's that got to do with Magnus? He's not going to find one that's worth anything. What he found was just an odd piece of brass, and that's all he's ever going to find. A molded lump of brass in a McAllister junk shop. I'll bet he paid more than it's worth.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?